with us. Bharati Vidyapeeth's Institute of Computer Applications and Management BVI camp in association with Computational Intelligence Society chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Computer Society chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Technology and Engineering Management Society chapter of IEEE Delhi section, System Man and Cybernetics Society chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Communication Society of IEEE Delhi section, Consultants Network Affinity Group of IEEE Delhi section, Life Member Affinity Group of IEEE Delhi section, Inter-Society Relations Standing Committee of IEEE Delhi section, Industry Relations and Special Interest Group on Humanitarian Technology Standing Committees of IEEE Delhi section with the associations Computer Society of India, Institute of Information Technology Professionals, IITP, ISTE Delhi section, and IETE Delhi Center as technical collaborator welcomes you all to the webinar on the topic Citation Management through Mendeley. It is a moment of pride and honor to announce that we, with united hands, mark special contribution for the monumental occasion Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, an initiative to celebrate 75 years of glorious independence by organizing the thought-provoking sessions for our better future. The webinar is an initiative for celebration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Productivity is never an accident. It is always the result of a commitment to excellence, intelligent planning, and focused effort. Citations are not used simply to avoid plagiarism. They have other important roles too. The webinar aims to discuss all the possible approaches and management of the same. I would first take the opportunity to welcome amongst us our distinguished panelists for the day. We are privileged to have amongst us a galaxy of experts. Firstly, I would like to welcome Professor Subrato Mukhopadhyay, Sir, Chairperson, Consultant Network Affinity Group, and former Chairperson, IEEE Delhi Section. I request Subrato, Sir, to please commence this session with his welcome address. Please, sir.
Thanks, IUC. After a pretty long time, I am in a position to join because either one or other reason I could not make it. And today, when I saw it, basically it is on the simplifying the practices of that IPR as well as patent filing. I thought it is quite an interesting topic, though we heard earlier also. But whatever the new things are there, definitely of interest. So, but suddenly I could say the topic has changed. So naturally, citation management by Mendeley software has come into picture, and we have really, thanks to Professor Hoda, keeping a right backup so that we do not lose a face or something like that. So everybody is interested to listen because I see now also 141, it is still growing and increasing and continuing. Already we have crossed century? No.
Yeah, this is 99th.
99. So
Next
in my
Saturday
back
it is
of mind, I was thinking this is going to be 100, so I should not miss. Anyway, you are putting me in a strain that next one I must attend.
Yes.
Anyway, we'll hear because already IOC has talked a little bit about these things. We'll hear from the speaker itself about these things. Definitely, plagiarism is a very big issue when we handle these conference papers because transactions paper, a lot of things are done and a lot of time are there. Here, always we are lips in bounds. I mean, it is a very difficult situation all the time. Even other day also it came with that one that how many much percentage we agree. Even IEEE's main thing is still up to 30%, but we told no. Again, UGC has given 10%. All these things compromising somewhere in between, we are making it up average like 20%, but taking care of all these things because people are also very clever. They manage in writing also to take care of. Long some time back, I had to have a lot of meetings with Professor Hoda on the issue paraphrasing and all this. These issues are also there. I hope with the different versions of coming, checking of present, things are getting improved. So let us not waste time. Back to IOC so that it can proceed further today's proceedings.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. It is our privilege also to welcome Mr. Saurabh Agarwal, sir, Head of Strategy and Growth, PSU Business, TCS. During his long career of over 26 years, Saurabh sir has widely traveled and has worked in multiple countries. He has received several awards in TCS for his management and leadership skills. He is a certified mentor and counselor. Also, Saurabh sir has an expertise in strategy, leadership, innovation, and coaching. He also has his hands on academic councils and advisory boards of several engineering colleges and universities. Also, being a regular mentor on Smart India hackathons organized by Ministry of Education, Government of India, and has been judged in all editions till date. He is an active member of Computer Society of India. I would like to request Saurabh sir to please commence this session with his welcome address. Please, sir.
Thanks, Ayushi. Uh, First of all, I would like to compliment Professor Hoda, his team, and BVI CAM for engaging series of webinars, which has been going on for almost 2.5 years, and almost every week. And now we just discussed today, I'm too excited to be part of this 99th webinar of this series. Next week would be, at least I believe so, would be an historical event with again a very, very relevant topic and some great speakers. I've been looking forward for the century in this series, and now that day has come. And I'm sure Professor Hoda must be planning something more than the webinar so that we can get an opportunity to congratulate him in person. And also, I hope we are gearing up ourselves for the double century too. Century is the first landmark, and we look forward to many more landmarks in the series. Today's topic is for me quite scholarly, if I may say so, and I have to admit that. And kudos to Dr. Ritika for stepping in at a short notice. And I look forward to learning something new today. In fact, a lot of new things today. So thanks, and back to you, Ayushi.
Thank you so much, sir. I would now like to request Professor M.N. Huda, sir, Director, Bharati Vidyapeeth's Institute of Computer Application and Management, BVI CAM, and Vice Chairperson, IEEE Delhi Section, to address the participants with his inspiring words. Please,
Good
sir.
evening, everyone. Am I audible, Dr. Ayushi?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yeah, good evening. At the outset, let me welcome my today's valued speaker for two reasons. One, she is always ready for crisis management. And the second, that she is going to enlighten all of us on citations and reference management using Mendeley. So welcome Dr. Ritika in different role today for enlightening us with your knowledge on such an important topic. I take this opportunity on 99th webinar of welcoming back Professor Subrata Mukhopadhyay sir and of course my friend Mr. Saurabh and my friends from various other professional societies who have been developing confidence, and webinar after webinar they are attending sessions and ensuring that it becomes a success. And one amongst them is our former chairperson of IEEE Delhi section, Professor Subramaniam Krishnamurthy. And finally, I also take this opportunity to welcome all my participants from various parts of the country and abroad who right from June 2020 are part of these webinar series, of course, depending upon their interest, their background, and their domain in which they are working. But webinar after webinar, they are coming, they are encouraging to all of us. So I have the gratitude due on me to be paid to them. So thank you so much. Dear friends, as Subrata sir has already said, Mr. Saurabh has already said, this is 99th webinar of the series, which we started in the backdrop of COVID-19 in June 2020. And before going on the theme of this today's webinar, let me admit that this webinar was to be delivered on IPR, primarily by Mr. Awab from Mumbai. But today evening, around 5, I have received a message from him that my son has been hit and now he is moving to hospital. We pray that he should have a faster, speedier and healthier recovery. And that created me a crisis. That created a situation of a crisis. And I'm a student of computer science. So when I was developing my skills in CMM, capability maturity model, then I was told during with reference of various books that the maturity of the organization is judged how the organization behaves in the crisis. And that's how I informed to Subrata sir that at least two lectures are always ready. And those two lectures we do not announce in our schedule just for one reason, that if something or other is going wrong, then out of the two lecture, at least one will be the part of the crisis management. So two wonderful lectures are available, and Dr. Ritika session on citation management using Mendeley is one amongst them. And this webinar which we have organized, this is 99. Next Saturday is our centenary edition of the webinar, that is 100 edition. And because in last almost since last 2 years, the government of India is giving huge focus from various government organizations as well as industries are also coming forward for implementation of National Education Policy 2020, NEP 2020. And that probably after a gap of 34 years, NEP 2020 has come up in a way. Of course, there are many proponents, many opponents for that, but changes, I believe always that always for good. So let's accept that changes will be good. And on that domain, next Saturday, our webinar will be that NEP 2020 challenges and opportunities. And two very known academicians of the country, stalwarts of their domain, Professor Pankaj Mittal, the former Additional Secretary of University Grants Commission, and the present former Vice Chancellor of, two terms Vice Chancellor of Bhagat Phool Singh Mahila Vishwavidyalaya, Sonipat, and the present Secretary General of Association of Indian Universities. She will be one of the speaker, and the second speaker, that is the session, will be presided over by none other than Professor K.K. Agarwal sir, who himself is a great academician, noted teacher of the country, and founder vice chancellor of Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, again for 2 terms, 10 years, and presently the chairperson of National Board of Accreditation, Government of India, New Delhi. So he will be presiding over the sessions. I thought this NEP 2020 should be delivered by people who are at the helm of the affairs, who are at the level of framing the rules, framing the guidelines, framing the regulations. So let's understand the challenges and opportunities from him. Why I devoted around 3 minutes on this, that let me sensitize you. This 100th edition is important, and these speakers are also important. So irrespective of your domain, I request all of you to attend that. Today's webinar, with which we are here, is on citations management. And let me tell you, citations management for any researcher, if you are MTech scholar, you must be trying to write papers. If you are a PhD scholar, again, you must be undertaking your research. If you are a supervisor, you are a guide, you must be guiding your scholars how to write papers. If you are a corporate, you must be in in an engagement of writing projects and technical documents, etc., etc. So irrespective of your domain, the citations and reference management using Mendeley is one software. There are other options, but citations and reference management per se is a very important subject. What happened nowadays, earlier there used to be limited publications, limited hard copies, which normally we used to refer for the purpose of review of literature, for the purpose of enriching our research. But nowadays, because of the infusion of the online system, huge number of resources are available. And then we keep on reading, keep on reading, keep on referring multiple resources, and then at the end of the day we forget that what all resources we have reviewed and where from and how to manage it, and then we have to invest so much of time. This software Mendeley, if you understand how to do citation management, will keep all your worries away. You keep on referring it and keep on tagging it. Rest all will be done by your software. And for further, that if you are you have created your references or bibliography in X format, and tomorrow your paper is rejected from that publication, or maybe someone tells you that no, 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 this format we are not looking forward, we are looking some another format. Even in that case, this software will help you to automatically convert it with the least possible effort from X format to Y format. And that's how our focus should not be only on managing, remembering, and managing references. Rather, focus as a researcher should be on doing the literature review, on referring the resources, and the kind of the efforts required for managing the references should be left to the software. That is what is the today's lecture, and Dr. Ritika will be enlightening to all of us. In backdrop of this, I would also like to inform you that we keep on organizing international conference under approval with IEEE Delhi section, and IndiaCom 17th edition of IndiaCom, that is IndiaCom 2023. The last date of paper submission is 7th of November, and the details will be shared in the chat window. Those who keep on writing research papers, they are most welcome to submit it. Last date will not be extended, but yes, those people who may submit incomplete paper, they will get another opportunity to submit their full paper. Then only the final review will be conducted. So thank you so much, dear friends, for having shown in faith to this IEEE, IET, and BBICAM webinar series. And this webinar series will continue because across the country, at least 200 plus participants keep on waiting depending upon their background, and then additional participants keep on coming depending upon their interest. And next week, we'll be meeting with our 100th edition of the webinar, and that's how I always say that फूलों की तरह फिर खिलेंगे हम, फूलों की तरह फिर खिलेंगे हम, और अगले सैटरडे एक नए टॉपिक के साथ फिर मिलेंगे हम. So thank you so much. Wish you all the best. God bless you all. Stay safe, stay healthy. Keep learning despite disruptions. That is our slogan. That is our message of this webinar series. And again, some new version of COVID, some new version of disruptions are coming from China. Let's be aware. And in Delhi, the another version of disruption is pollution. Let's be away from the pollution. So thank you so much. Wish you all the best. God bless you all. Over to you, Ayushi, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for always inspiring us. I would now like to welcome amongst us our expert speaker, Dr. Ritika Vasan ma'am, with an e-bouquet. Dr. Ritika Vasan ma'am is working as Associate Professor with Bharati Vidyapeeth Institute of Computer Applications and Management BVI Camp. She is also the Managing Editor for International Journal of Information Technology IJIT, an official journal of Bharati Vidyapeeth Institute of Computer Application and Management BVI Camp, co-published with Springer and UGC Care Index and Scopus Index. An avid researcher, she is also the editor for CSI Communications, a monthly magazine published by Computer Also Society of India CSI. A certified Mendeley trainer, she has trained several professionals and scholars on Mendeley. A researcher, she has also authored many books and papers published by many leading publishers. We are glad to have you amongst us, ma'am. I would now request you to please enlighten the house, please.
Thank you so much, Ayushi ma'am. I hope my screen is visible and I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are and the screen is visible.
Thank you, ma'am. So first of all, I would welcome all my audience today to this basic session on citation management through Mendeley. I know many of you might be thinking that something else had been propagated and why are we at this citation management, or how is citation management related to it? So dear friends, please wait and please listen. As my colleague Ayushi ma'am had stated in the very beginning, citations are not just an abbreviated reference to a source nowadays. It has become important in many other fields. So even if you talk of intellectual property rights, on which we would have had a great session today, uh, even that, simply speaking, is a legal concept that is used to strike balance between the public goods and the incentives for individuals to create their stuff. You can patent an innovation design, let's say, for example, of maintaining food freshness, but you cannot patent the idea of an insulated bag. Whosoever gave this idea of an insulated bag should ethically be, I would say, referred, should ethically be cited in your work whenever you work on some innovative idea of yours. So that is where citation management comes in, dear friends. Whether you are writing a research paper, you are a researcher, whether you are writing a technical report, you are a professional, citation management is something which is part of ethical behavior of writing and reporting in the present times, I would say. As per Elsevier, as you can already see, there are certain key elements of getting more citation. And why is citation management important? I would say in the last 5 years, citation management is something which has gained a lot of importance with well-renowned publishers in any particular domain, be it arts, be it humanities, be it social sciences, be it computer sciences, be it mathematics. Citation management has become a very important concern with all the top publishers. Why? Because to ensure that the journal is publishing quality papers. That means if you want to establish the reliability that your paper is a qualitative research work, it is important for you to give proper value to citation management. You want to do international collaboration. You don't want to restrict your domain to just your own working. Obviously, nowadays, if we talk, whatever research I do, I'm just, I would say, a penny in the large ocean of researchers. There is somebody in the international domain who is already working in my field. If I want to collaborate with those peoples, I need to have citations. We need to have quality references in our work. If you submit your work to some good journal, many a times our manuscript, however innovative, however original it may be, they are rejected for the simple reason that the manuscript does not have quality references. For ensuring your visibility and active usage of social media, specialized network communities, again, citation management is important. And for proper article design and language, if you're writing a research article, you're writing a research manuscript, remember references or bibliographic citations are an important part of any research manuscript. So we'll start with the very basic in this session today. We'll first start with knowing what do we mean by citation management and why recently has this citation management term becomes so important. So, dear friends, I hope the ones who are, I would say, not very young, they are in my age group in this group today, they would agree to what I say. Citation management has not always been as easy as it is today. Citation management software was introduced in the 1980s, but it was used primarily to organize references, search databases for articles on a particular topic, and generate bibliographies only at, I would say, the research level. Many of us, we have done our research, we have done our doctorates, but we have never known of any such citation management software. Over the years, users' needs have changed, technology has advanced. I would say data has grown. So nowadays, if we need data, we can go to any of the search engines like Google, etc. We find all the data available over there. So many new features have been added. There are many bibliographic citation management packages that are available nowadays. Popular among them are Reference Work, EndNote, Zotero, and yes, Mendeley, which is one of them. As per Duke University Library, a plagiarism occurs when a student intentionally deceives or disregards proper scholarly procedures and presents any information, ideas, phrasing, or of some other as if they were his own and does not give appropriate credit to the original source. This is what I told you in the very beginning, that even in intellectual property rights, if you talk about, you can say, yes, design, I have an innovative design of maintaining food freshness. So I can patent that design. I can copyright that design. That is my copyright. But the idea of storing food in, I would say, any kind of insulated bags to maintain their freshness by controlling different parameters, that idea was obviously never given by me. It was given by some other researcher at some point in history. So it is important for me, if I am an ethical and sincere researcher, to also give appropriate credit to that particular researcher who had spent his time making this kind of research. This is where citation management comes in. Proper scholarly procedures require and they demand that all quoted material is identified by quotation marks or indentation on the page, and the source of information and ideas, if it is from some other place, must be identified and attributed. Thus, what is citation? If I talk in the most simplest term, and again, this is said by Wikipedia. So a citation is an abbreviated reference to a published or unpublished source. Most common style of citations, I think we all have come across. There are square brackets in which some number is given. If I click on that number, it takes me to a place somewhere down in the document, which expands that number to a particular article or a research manuscript or some form of published content. So that is what is a citation. Uh, a bibliographic citation is again a reference to a book, article, web page, or published item. So citations should supply detail to identify the items uniquely. Different citation systems and styles can be used in a scientific citation, legal citation, prior arts, the arts, and humanities. So some of you might be thinking that this Mendeley might be only for sciences, but remember, citations are important in all domains, irrespective of the field they are. The only difference will be that the citation style will be different. And trust me, this tool that I'm going to introduce today, this is going to help you with managing your citation irrespective of your domain and irrespective of the citation style that is expected out of you. Remember, dear friends, if you are submitting an article to any top journal, any well-acclaimed journal, be it Elsevier, be it Scoopers, be it any other well-acclaimed journal, reference list is one of the main component along with the title and abstract that the general editor is initially going to scan through before making their final decision whether to review your manuscript or to reject it outrightly. So that is the importance of citation. And if we talk in the present time, gone are the times we could have moved to a library which could have had cards with citations of each and every material. Today, all material is available on the web. And if I talk about this material available on the web, the amount of this material is more than gigabytes and terabytes. That means it is more than our imagination. So obviously, remembering so many citations or so many sources for our field of work is not possible for normal human memory. So in this case, to solve this challenge, the citation management tools come into picture. They are also called as bibliographic management tools or citation management. Most common examples, EndNote, Mendeley, reference works, Zotero. What do they help do you? They help you to organize, manage, and format citations for your research. So I just discussed on the previous slide, we have many different citation management tools in the market like EndNote, Mendeley, reference work, and Zotero. A basic question is, why is the session or why am I only wanting to introduce all of you to Mendeley? Why don't I give you a session with all these management tools? So dear friends, there is a difference between all these management tools. If you talk about the major players in this case, I would say it is Zotero, EndNote, and Mendeley. So if you talk about Mendeley, simply speaking, I can say Mendeley is a program that can organize your documents and references, help you collaborate with other people by joining and creating groups, help you discover statistics and recommendations for your own work, and help you stay up to date and learn more. And all this can happen while Mendeley program will live on your local computer, and meanwhile it can also sync with your secure web account so that you can use your Mendeley library on multiple computers from whatever place you are. It is one software that is compatible with almost all, I will say, notepad editing or writing softwares like MS Word, OpenOffice, LaTeX. One of my friends has just asked, is Mendeley free? Yes, dear friends, Mendeley for all of us is free. The software comes in two versions. So one is the free version, and the free version gives you approximately 2 gigabytes of online space. So that is more than enough for any one of us to manage all our data or manage references. So as researchers, yes, Mendeley is completely free for us. Over 6 million researchers, and I would be very happy to accept that this number is growing. So if you check the current number, it is no longer 6 million. It might have soon exceeded to 7, 8, 9, 10, or 12 million. Trust Mendeley to share their ideas, see what's new in their field, and discuss important developments. So that is the power of Mendeley. And as compared to any of its competitors, Zotero is again a free version, but this software will only save your citations to a library to your local computer, and it will only allow syncing of that local library to multiple computers. Limitation of Zotero is that the Zotero software is only compatible with Firefox and Chrome web browsers and MS Word and Google Docs as such. You come over to EndNote. EndNote is a product of Clarivate. It is web-based paid version that is compatible with Word, OpenOffice, and Page. Mendeley is one free software that comes compatible for all web browsers. You have a Mendeley desktop that you can install on your machine, your local system. You can have a Mendeley web account that you can access where you can sync and you can store all your references, and you can even have a Mendeley mobile so that you can even work with Mendeley in limited restrictions. It is available for all the web browsers, and it is compatible with all softwares, be it MS Word, be it OpenOffice or LaTeX. So that is why this session is a basic introduction to Mendeley. As you can see over here in the screenshot, I am giving a basic screenshot of my Mendeley desktop. Very soon, I'll be taking you into a live intro into my Mendeley desktop. Remember, dear friends, Mendeley no longer is only a citation management tool that will help you manage your references. It is a reference manager that can allow you to manage, read, share, annotate, as well as cite your research papers. It is an academic collaboration network with over 6 million users to connect like-minded researchers and discover research trends and statistics. It forms a crowdsourced database with a unique layer of social research information and an open API. So, if we talk about Mendeley, I would say even if you have a brief introduction into how to use the Mendeley Reference Manager, it is three basic components. We have the Mendeley Reference Manager, which as a researcher can manage your references and drive your researcher productivity. It can also enable you to collaborate and share your knowledge with your research network, your own group, that means your own private group members, or with a larger group globally, internationally. It also allows you to create additional insights and build apps which are research data, which can help you enhance your research data and API. And a very important feature that we have nowadays, I hope all of you will have heard about the Creative Commons, the CC license. The Creative Commons license is simply a license that allows creators to use our current legal system to give universal permission for certain users to allow everybody to access their resources. Among this, a very important thing that has come in the research community nowadays currently is that whatever research you write, you should make your data publicly available under the CC license, obviously. Mendeley is one citation management tool that allows you to share your data as Mendeley data. So you can protect your data as well as you can share it with all the users in the public at large. So that is the power of Mendeley today. But obviously, before we go on to using Mendeley, let's have a brief overview of the history of Mendeley. The first thing is why the name Mendeley came. So it is actually named after the biologist Gregor Mendel, who worked on this with a colleague who was a chemist, Dmitry Mendeleev. So the name Mendeley. It was founded in London in November 2007 by 3 German PhD students, but the first public beta version was released in August 2008. Mendeley was purchased by the academic publisher Elsevier in 2013. So since 2013, Mendeley, though a free citation management tool, is now under the ownership of Elsevier. And remember, dear friends, this deal was one of the most coveted deals because the deal price was speculated to be somewhere around US dollar 65 million, but the actual price is still under wraps till date. After acquisition, yes, there was a big debate that Elsevier may change Mendeley to a paid version, but Mendeley subsequently maintained its free nature while extending its product line into new areas while continuing to iterate and improve on its reference management facility. So today, if we talk about in the current time, what are the different Mendeley products? So you can see this exhaustive list of Mendeley products. Out of this, the first is Mendeley Desktop. I told you in the very beginning, Mendeley is a program that can live on your local machine and it can manage all your references. Earlier, the software, and this earlier is not dated very back. It is only till September 2022. Till September 2022, on your local machine, you could have a software called as Mendeley Desktop. Since September 2022, that means since October 2022, Mendeley Desktop has been replaced by Mendeley Reference Manager. There is not much difference between both of them. I'll show you both of them. The only thing is Mendeley Reference Manager is a more web compatible version as compared to Mendeley Desktop. But old Mendeley users, if you still have Mendeley Desktop installed on your system, rest assured, you don't need to switch over to Mendeley Reference Manager. Mendeley Desktop still remains available to the old user. The only new thing is that for new users who will be downloading Mendeley, they will not be getting Mendeley Desktop, they will be getting Mendeley Reference Manager. Next important utility that we have in Mendeley is the Mendeley Web Importer. A very big challenge for all researchers nowadays is where to get the data from. I wrote a paper, I submitted it to a journal, and it was returned back that the quality of your references is not good. You have only cited current references. Kindly cite some old but well-known references in the given domain. As a researcher, it is important to strike a balance between the current work as well as the previous work of that domain. Where do I get that previous work from? Actually, my organization has no memberships of any big publishers. Mendeley Web Importer is a tool, dear friends, that can help you increase your references and increase the citation count in your paper. Fine. Mendeley helps me manage my references. It has also helped me increase my references. But now, how do I cite those references in my paper? If I want to publish a paper with a well-known publisher who is expecting at a minimum 50 references in my paper, how do I manage those 50 references? Dear friends, have a sigh of relief. With Mendeley, you don't need to remember anything. Mendeley Cite is the tool which will be installed as a plugin in your Microsoft Word, OpenOffice, or LaTeX, whichever version you will be using. and it will help you cite your citations directly in your paper. Trust me, your effort of paper writing will be reduced by half to only writing your content, referring the appropriate content. Rest all things, Mendeley is going to manage itself. There are Mendeley mobile apps that are available. There is a Mendeley profile that we can maintain for ourselves as our researchers and make ourselves visible publicly, internationally. We can have a Mendeley feed, which can give us feedback regarding new publications or new advancements in our domain or our area of research. We have a Mendeley suggest, which like Google suggest is going to suggest whenever we enter something, or it is going to show us what is the current research in that area. Mendeley data, I have already introduced to all of you. If you want to make your data publicly available with your own copyright, Mendeley data is the tool you can use for the same. You can even join Mendeley. So there is a Mendeley careers. People who are doing original research, but they fall short of funding and they don't know any of the funding agencies. Remember, dear friends, Mendeley also provides funding to original research. There is a paid version of Mendeley also, Mendeley Institutional Edition, which is generally owned by international universities, globally, University of Chicago, University of MIT, all the big universities, they have Mendeley Institutional Edition. There is a Mendeley developer portal where you can create your own APIs, your own forms, and you can collect data regarding your research. This was a basic idea, brief about the power of Mendeley. Let us have a quick check to see how many of you are there with me currently. I would like to request you all that please answer these particular questions. One of the attendees is asking a question, is it device specific? Yes, sir. Mendeley installation is going to be device specific. There are different tools that can be installed, but all the tools that I have shown you, they are available with all the installations. So for any kind of device that you have, you work on your Windows, you work on Mac, you work on anything, you work on Linux, you have a Mendeley installation that is available for it. And how it will be done, I will just give you a brief overview of that also. So first, let's quickly revise what we have discussed up till now. First question, citations tool can also be called as, and I'll show you the options. You can quickly write what is your answer. So you have two options, bibliographic management tools or CiteCX. I just discussed it in my previous slide. So let's see how many of you are with me? What will be your answer? Quickly write in the chat window, dear friends. Very good. One of you was saying A. So great. Most of you are guessing it right. So thank you so much, dear friends, for being with me. Yes, citation management tools can also be called as bibliographic management tools. Citations tools helps us in managing citations for our research, B, organizing our citations, C, formatting our citations, D, all the above. Quickly, can we have the answers to the second question now? D. Great. Thank you once again. So now I'm confident that all my audience is with me and I hope you are enjoying this session. Last question, and please think before answering. Mendeley was officially released in A, 2007, B, 2008, C, 2009, or D, 2010? Great. One of the users says B, one says A. Again, we have B, A. Okay, great. So in that case, I would say this time the audience is divided. But dear friends, please remember, Mendeley was released in 2007, but officially it was released in the market in 2008. So that was just a quick revision of what we have discussed up till now. We will now come to Mendeley Reference Manager and how to use the Mendeley Reference Manager. So instead of going with the PPT now, I will actually show you a brief of Mendeley. The first task when you start with Mendeley Reference Manager is, how do I first become part of Mendeley, or where do I get Mendeley from? So a very simple answer to that question is, if I want to have Mendeley. I hope my screen is visible. Now I've shown my browser. Yes, it is visible on my second device. So I hope it is visible to all of you also. Now this is my browser, dear friends. And what have I done in this case? It's a very simple thing. Just open Google and type Mendeley. As soon as you type Mendeley, the very first link that opens up, it is mendeley.com. This is your official place where you can get Mendeley. Now, if you see over here in my screen, I have opened my Mendeley. It says welcome to Mendeley, and you can already see my name over there with a small picture of mine. That is because I'm already signed in. So, dear friends, if you want to start using Mendeley, you want to become a member of the Mendeley community. Remember, a basic requirement for you will be you will have to go to mendeley.com and sign in. That means create a username and password for yourself. And remember, this username and password is very important because this username and password would be your Elsevier account. So if you are already a member of Elsevier, you can use the same username or password, or if you sign into Mendeley, now because Mendeley is owned by Elsevier, so the same username and password gives you entry into the Elsevier also. So this is where you will get Mendeley, and as soon as you will see, you will scroll down, you will see it shows you try the desktop app to manage your library, and you can download Mendeley Reference Manager. As I just said, till September 2022, we had Mendeley Desktop, which was the official app given by Mendeley to manage your library. The app still remains, but it is only there for the old users. All new users who join Mendeley, they will have to download Mendeley Reference Manager. Once you download and install Mendeley Reference Manager, this is how your Mendeley Reference Manager is going to look. If you see over here, this is the basic look of your Mendeley Reference Manager, dear friends. If you have a look, left-hand side is my Mendeley library. This is my Mendeley library. Obviously, when you install Mendeley for the first time, your Mendeley library will not have so many folders in the collection. You will only see this basic library that will be available. This will show you all the references that you have imported in this case. Now, any recently added references, it will also show you recently read references or your favorite references, your own publications. Mendeley Citation Management tool can also help you maintain that. So you can maintain your own publications also. And if you see over here, this is showing all my references. This all my references is nothing. This is only showing me all the references that I have added in my library. So this is actually the Mendeley Reference Manager look. And if you look over here, if you click on any of these references, if you see over here, all my references at the moment, they are arranged in a tabular fashion. If I want, I can even change the view. So if you see over here, using Mendeley Reference Manager is very simple. It's simple options that you have: file, export all, edit, you can cut, copy, paste. Tools give you options for installing the Mendeley Web Importer, installing Mendeley site for Microsoft Word, for searching articles online. And yes, there is a help available for helping on all the particular things. How do I start using Mendeley? First step, I have already told all of you, you need to sign into Mendeley. You will be getting a username password. This username and password will be your key to Mendeley. Remember, dear friends, any references, any works I add to my Mendeley Citation Manager, those references and those works remain protected. Mendeley will not share them in the public without my information. So all the references and works are protected under your username and password. Once you create your account with Mendeley, this Mendeley Reference Manager is nothing. This Mendeley Reference Manager is actually your local Mendeley desktop that you can manage. Earlier, we used to have the Mendeley desktop. I'll even show you that Mendeley desktop. So this is how the Mendeley desktop used to look. You will see the Mendeley Reference Manager and the Mendeley desktop. They have quite similar look and feel. There is not much difference. So dear friends, all your work remains protected. It will not be shared with anybody else without your permission. and the protection is through this username and password. One of you is asking, how do we collaborate with other researchers through Mendeley? I'll show you that also. First of all, let us see how to use Mendeley. So to use Mendeley, once you install your Mendeley Reference Manager, dear friends, you will see this leftmost corner shows you your library. Initially, your library would have only these few basic folders like all documents, recently added, recently read, favorites, needs review, my publications, and an unsorted list of folders. These folders are the folders that you can create in your Mendeley account. So to create a new folder, I can simply create on create folder, and I can give this folder a name. Let's say I just give this folder a name AQI. AQI is going very important nowadays. In Delhi, the pollution level and the AQI index has gone far beyond the safe limit. So all schools have been shut down. So let's pick up AQI for this testing today. So as soon as I make my AQI folder, you will see, dear friends, now I have this folder opened over here in my workspace, and my folder is empty. So once my folder is empty, obviously what I want to do first of all, to do research, I first need to have some research, some references in this folder. How do I get those references? At the moment, currently, I am taking this session from my home. So I have no institutional login. I don't have any access to any publisher. How do I do it? And remember, my friends, the magic is I'll do the complete thing only with Mendeley. How? Look at the magic. Only one thing you will have to do, go to tools and select the option install web importer. As soon as you will select this option, install web importer, it will take you to your browser, and from your browser, just a minute, from your browser, it will take you to the install web importer screen. See, if you see over here, this is how, this is for the Mendeley Reference Manager. Okay, fine. I'll just show you once again. So I go to Google, and if I write over here, Mendeley web importer for Chrome, great. So as soon as I write this, if you have a look, it takes me to a page where in the extension, it shows Mendeley Web Importer, and I can get the extension for Chrome. As soon as I'll click on this button, within a matter of a few minutes, you can see on my Chrome itself, there is a red colored icon that is coming at the top. This is nothing. This is the Mendeley Web Importer plugin. Now, how am I going to use this plugin to fetch my details? So let's say I have made a folder AQI, and I want to write research on this. I have a work going on, a novel framework to improve AQI in a sustainable mechanism. So I want to have recent work in that case. Obviously, what will I do? One way of researching is I can directly go to Google. So if I directly go to Google and I write any of my search keywords, I wrote a novel framework to import AQI, it shows me all the research that is given over here. The same thing you can do with Google Scholar. I know my friends who are doing research, they will trust Google Scholar more over here. But for the general public, we generally go over to Google. So even Google will show us a number of options. In this case, once I go at an option, let's say I'll go at the first option. It is an article that is published in frontiers.org. If the article is available for download, as I can see over here, I can directly download the PDF of the article, and I can store that PDF on, let's say, a folder in my system. If you see on my screen, suddenly there is a pop-up that says view the PDF. Dear friends, Mendeley just does not manage your citation. It also allows you to read and annotate your citation. So in this case, it will be opening the PDF in your browser itself through the enhanced reader, and you can read the PDF over here. Else, I have downloaded the PDF. I can take it in this folder. Now, from this folder, it's available in my download folder. I can make a separate folder on my machine. At the moment, I'll not make a separate folder on my machine. I'll go to my Mendeley desktop. And because I created a folder in the Mendeley desktop, I'll add this file into that particular folder. So see, I go to add files option. There is an add files option that I have in this case. And directly in this add files option, because I just added this article, I can pick up this article and I can add it to this particular file. See, As soon as the article is added, dear friends, I can see over here the authors of my article. I can see the title of my article. I can see the year of publication of my article, and I can see where my article was published. This is the beauty of Mendeley, that Mendeley fetches your citation itself. And if you see the third part of your Mendeley reference manager, in this case, you click on the title that you have added, the reference that you have added in your Mendeley library. It opens up the details of the articles in the rightmost corner, in the rightmost tab. And in these details, it fetches the details automatically. And trust me, dear friends, 99%, 99, I would say 99.99% of time, these details are trustable. These details are absolutely correct. You can trust these details. If some details are missing for certain articles, which might be through local publishers, or their keywords may not have been set in the search engines, you can even make changes. So if I want to make a change, let's say I want to change the name of the authors, I can directly click on the author names in this case, and I can make the changes. I want to add something new in this case, I can even add something new. Like if, let's say, in the tags, I want to add something in the tags, I can again click over here and I can add a tag. Let's say I add a tag AQI. So you can even edit your references, but most of the references that are given by Mendeley, they are fetched by Mendeley Citation Management tool. They are absolutely correct. How do I get more research? Now, this research was easily available as a PDF, so I got it. Next, if I want to have research which is not easily available, all research on the web is not easily available. You generally have to purchase. What do we do in that case? Obviously, now I am not so rich that I will be purchasing all the articles for my research. So what can I do in that case? Let's go to the second article. The second article is a technical paper, and I nowhere have an option to download it because it says get access. That means I cannot download it. How do I get a reference to this article in my Mendeley library? For that, I will use the Mendeley web importer. I'll click over the Mendeley web importer. First time you click on the Mendeley web importer, it will ask you to sign in. I am already signed in, so it shows you my Mendeley web importer. Now, if you see, this is your Mendeley web importer. This pop-up window is nothing but your Mendeley web importer. In this case, it says you can select all documents. That means you can select whatever references you want to insert into your Mendeley library and where to store it. So it says select my library. If you have made a separate folder, you can even select that folder. But what you will have to do before selecting that folder, one task you will have to do is you will have to sync your library with your Mendeley web. Remember, dear friends, I repeat, your Mendeley account is two parts. It is your Mendeley library that you maintain on your desktop, which was initially called as Mendeley Desktop. Now it is called as the Mendeley Reference Manager, and it is your Mendeley web account. So what you have to do is you need to keep both of them in sync. To maintain sync between both of them, you will see a simple option is available over here that allows you to synchronize your library with your Mendeley web. As soon as I click on the synchronize option, you will see a green bar at the bottom of the Mendeley desktop. This green bar is uploading the files or any changes that I have made currently. Now, as soon as the syncing is done, if I expand my library in my Mendeley web importer, I have recently created a folder AQI. I hope that AQI is now visible. I'll open the web importer again because I had opened it earlier. So I can select the appropriate folder and then I can select the article. Now, dear friends, have a look. Another thing. How can you improve your citations? How can you improve your references? It shows me this particular reference. It is an article, technical paper, novel assessment framework for improving AQI monitoring network layout. Below that, it also shows me 3 more references detected on this page. And see, if you see below, it shows that whether for a reference the PDF is available or not available. And if you find these references useful for your work, you can even add these references in your work. So I can check all the matching references that it shows me, and I can add those references in my work. Now, if I click on add, it is going to add all the references to my library. And if you see over here, my reference, the green tick has come. That means the references have been added over to my library. Another thing I will show you over here before I move back to my Mendeley desktop. Dear friends, since the acquiring of Mendeley by Elsevier and Scoopus and Science Direct, which are two big publishers, two big search engines, I would say. Largest, Scopus in itself is the largest abstract and citation database of peer-reviewed literature. Scopus and Science Direct have extended their support to Mendeley. They are officially supporting Mendeley. So if you find an article on Scopus or Science Direct, I'll open this article. This is from Science Direct. The PDF is available, but if you have a look over here, just below the article title and the author details, if you have a look, it says add to Mendeley and cite. So that is the universal appeal. That is the universal acceptance that we have for Mendeley. I can directly add it to Mendeley by again using the Mendeley web importer. So directly I can add this to my Mendeley through the Mendeley web importer. I again will add this reference to the Mendeley web importer. This time, see, I'll select my AQI folder. Once I select my AQI folder, I can now select these articles that I have, and I can add them to my AQI folder. So once that is done, I hope now it is clear to everybody that how you can build up your library through your Mendeley account. Let's go back to our Mendeley desktop. So once we are back at our Mendeley desktop, obviously I need to add all the articles to my library. I'll just sync my library. So once I sync my library, you can see one of the articles I had added to the folder itself, AQI, so it's available in the folder. Rest of the articles I had added into my library. So I can pick them up from my library. So I can select them over here. And I can copy them. I can directly move this article to my AQI folder. So once I move it to my AQI folder, it will be available in my AQI folder. And I can also add files from my system if I have any files in my system. So that I've already shown you. Now we come to the next part. This is managing our citations through Mendeley Reference Manager. We are already exceeding time, so I'll only show you the last part of it now, how we can use Mendeley Reference Manager to cite our citations. To cite our citations, the only thing is you need to install a small plugin for whatever software you are using, be it MS Word, OpenOffice, or LaTeX. In this case, I am going to work on MS Word. So I have the MS Word plugin. My MS Word plugin is already installed. So it says uninstall MS Word plugin. The next thing that we'll do is once you have installed your MS Word plugin, I'll open my MS Word. So if you see my MS Word, dear friends, you will see in MS Word, we have a references tab. Generally, when we open MS Word, this is how MS Word appears. In the MS Word, we have a references tab. If you open that references tab, you will see as soon as we install the Mendeley Cytomatic plugin, I have a proper sub-tab in this references tab, which is said Mendeley Cytomatic. Now, I can use this Mendeley Cytomatic to manage all my references. How can I use it to manage all my references? I'll just show all of you. First thing is, let's say I've written these few lines. I wrote air is a necessity for life. Air quality index, better known as AQI, is deteriorating in the current times to levels which are fatal for humanity. As I told you in the very beginning, citations are very important for researchers in the present time. So obviously, those two statements that I state over here, though I have written them in my own language, but obviously this was not me saying something. These are already well-known facts. So for well-known facts, it is important to cite them. To cite the facts, what you need to do, just take your cursor to the point in your document where you want to insert a citation and click on the insert citation button. As soon as you will click on the insert citation button, the Mendeley Cytomatic tab will open for you and it will automatically show you, either you can search by author, title, or year in my library. So if you remember those things, you have a good memory, you can enter the search term. I have a big library. I don't want to remember all those. I'll just click on the button, go to Mendeley. As soon as I click on this button, go to Mendeley, this will redirect me to my Mendeley reference manager. And now from my Mendeley reference manager, I can pick up any of the text and I select it and there is a button send citation to plugin. As soon as I send this citation to plugin, dear friends, have a look. I already have the citation inserted over here with the number 1 because I am following the IEEE style. If let's say I want to change the style, I'll change the style. So to change the style, I have a number. Remember, Mendeley Citation Manager is one citation manager that supports a number of citation styles. So if you see in this list itself, there are many citation styles that are shown and there is last an option more styles. So there are many other style files. I can select American Medical Association 11th edition. I can have American Sociological Association 6th edition. American Psychological Edition Association 7th edition, or I can take a modern humanities style, I can take the Harvard style, I can take the nature style, any style that you want, you can take it. And as soon as you change the style over there, have a look, my friend, my reference has changed. Now it has changed to the APA style that I use. Let me cite one more reference and then I'll show you other things. Let's say I want to add another reference. So again, I go to insert citation, I go to Mendeley, I go to my recently added, and let's say I pick up this particular citation and I add it. The citation gets added in this case. I want to add one more citation at the same point. Generally, at some statements, they are there where we want to insert multiple citations. If I want to insert multiple citation, again, I remain at that point. I again go to insert citation, go to Mendeley, and I select another paper, let's say. The paper gets inserted. Now, what I can do, these multiple citations, I'll first change the style to IEEE because I think IEEE is easier for us to visible and understand. So I changed the style to IEEE. So now if you have a look, I have 1, 2, 3 references which are added. Now the issue is my 2 and 3 references, they come at the same point. Because they come at the same point, dear friends, remember the citation style changes. How do I change the citation style? I have no idea of that. So to do that, I'll just select my both multiple citations. As soon as I select them, have a look, my insert citation button has changed to merge citation. I'll click on this and it will change the citation style for me. So that is Mendeley. I want to add another citation. Let's say I want to add it at this point. And now I don't remember if it was a previous citation or it is a new citation that I'm adding. I'll go to Mendeley and let's say I add this citation. Now I don't remember if I've already added it. But see, my Mendeley does the magic. It writes the number 1 again. Why? Because I had already cited this citation in my manuscript. Now, this way, you can keep citing your work. The problem is when you reach the end, you have to make a bibliography. Now, that is another important thing because that is an important component of a manuscript. And I can say my publisher or my boss to whom I have to submit my report, he is not going to accept my document till the time I complete the references. At the moment, Mendeley has only done the citation part for me. Who will insert the bibliography? Mendeley will do that for you, dear friends. If you see the Mendeley Cytomatic tab, at the top, there is an option, Insert Bibliography. As soon as you click on this option, all the citations that you have referred will be cited as a bibliography in a unique way. You want to change the citation style? Again, select everything, go to style, change the style. This time I took Chicago manual style. See, the style changes. So this is how I can use Mendeley for citation management. I want to delete a citation. I entered a citation and I realized it was a wrong citation. I had to add some other citation over there. To delete a citation, I can simply delete the given citation. Let's say I delete this citation. Once I delete the citation, if I simply click on undo, it is going to undo the citation from my work. Number one, if I take citation number one, and if I delete citation number one from here, as soon as I click on undo, as soon as I'll click on refresh, have a look, my citations are refreshed. We have another question. I'll be taking that at the end. Before I finish for the day, dear friends, another important feature. Generally, if you submit your Mendeley cited paper to a journal which is under Elsevier, which is under Scoopers, which is under Science Direct, the chances of your paper getting accepted again increase a lot, because obviously they trust your manuscript because you have used the Mendeley Citation Manager. But once your manuscript is accepted, at the end of it, there can be a simple point, a simple request that is made to you. The publisher can say, kindly give me a Mendeley free file. How do I make that? Now that is another difficulty. Again, Mendeley will manage it for you. You can simply click on the option export as, and you can download a Mendeley file without Mendeley fields or which is compatible with LibreOffice, whatever you want. So if I click on without Mendeley fields, you will see it opens the save as dialog box, export without Mendeley field, and it allows me to save my document wherever I want without Mendeley fields. So this is, dear friends, how we only use the Mendeley Citation Manager. Same Mendeley you can even use to create groups. If I travel down this library over here, one of you in the beginning was asking me a question, ma'am, how do we create groups? How do we share it with our co-researchers? So for co-researchers, you will find a tab groups in your library. You can create a group. You can give a name to your group. Let's say I give a name to my group. You can create this group and I can invite people into this group. Once I invite people into this group, it will send, I will enter their email address. It will send the invites to those peoples. Once I invite those people and I add members to the group, Mendeley will assign different color schemes to all the members of my group. So if I have a common document that I'm sharing with all the members of my group, let's say if I go back over here and I'll have a common document that all my group mates are reading, we are reading together. So in that case, let's open a PDF in this case. So let's say we open this PDF. If I am reading this document, Mendeley will assign me a different color to annotate this document. I can annotate this document. I can use highlight feature to annotate this document. Mendeley will assign me a different color. It will assign my group member a different color so that we can get to know which group member has contributed in that what way. So this is how you can share Mendeley and your work with your group members, dear friends. Lastly, how do we join the Mendeley community over the web? So if I want to join the Mendeley community over the web, nothing I have to do. I can simply go on to the Mendeley blog. If you see over here, it shows me different things. If I type Mendeley blog in this case, it will take me to the Mendeley online community. See friends, this is the Mendeley blog. This is the Mendeley online community. In this case, I can go to the Mendeley library. I can search for data. I can follow groups of people. This will open my library in itself because I have synced my library. So I can even access my library from the blog. I can search any new fields, any new data that I want over here. So this way I can connect with the complete Mendeley community online also. Yes, dear friend, one of you was asking, can we read papers on Mendeley? Yes, we can read papers on Mendeley. Just now I showed you. If you have a paper in your library, just double click on that paper. If the PDF is available, Mendeley will open up that paper for reading. If you are accessing a paper on the web, and in that case, you saw, as I showed you, that a simple view or view PDF will appear and Mendeley will open up that paper for reading for you. So yes, you can read papers. For papers which are copyrighted, they are not available for open access reading. In that case also, Mendeley, if not possible, Mendeley will not show you the complete paper, but it will at least show you the main part of the paper or the main content of the paper, through which you will at least be able to cite your paper as well as refer things. So this is, I think, a basic introduction into Mendeley. More detailed discussion we can have in a Mendeley session some other time. But I think this brief discussion is very motivating for all my attendees today to, I hope, join the Mendeley community today itself. So with this, I would end my discussion for today because I've already exceeded the time. So I hope you all enjoyed this session. Any queries, any doubts, any one of you has, we can even discuss it now. So I'll stop sharing now, and now I would be open to question and answers.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for the enlightening deliberation. I am sure that this insightful session would have enlightened the participants about the real life applications. One question, otherwise, you have taken all the questions by your own self and answered them that very moment. One question that I feel you to address is how to deal with the problem of very low citation of conference papers.
The only solution to that thing is that if it's your own conference paper and you want to cite it, add it to your publications in your Mendeley library, and your Mendeley account, make it visible to the public. So obviously, as soon as you add your conference paper in your publication in your Mendeley library, it will become available to the public, and people who are working in your domain, they will look at your paper and they will cite that. A recent question I've seen by one of the attendees is that can we use Mendeley to, just a minute, I just saw that question. Can we cite some code base on GitHub? Yes, dear friends, that is the power of Mendeley. You have a general article, you have a conference publication, you have a newspaper article, you have some code on GitHub, you have some web page that you want to cite. Mendeley will cite everything for you. So don't worry about what kind of source are you referring to. Just use the Mendeley web importer on that particular source, and Mendeley is going to cite that particular source for you in your paper. Code etc. on GitHub, data available, code on available on GitHub or any of the sites is like data available on these sites. So if you want to give a reference to your code that is available on GitHub, yes, you can do it through Mendeley site. That is perfectly possible with Mendeley. Ma'am, you are on mute.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for giving us time at very short notice and joining us and giving such an insightful session. I would now like to request Professor M.N. Huda, sir, to kindly present a certificate to Dr. Ritika, ma'am, as a token of remembrance.
So, Dr. Ritika, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Some credit of this also goes to you because you were the initiator who had motivated me to prepare this session.
Yeah, thank you so much. This session is always useful for the people right from a student life till their teacher's life for the purpose of guiding a students, mentoring a students. Thank you so much. I
It's
could
really
see Professor
very
Vasu.
nice. Very nice input.
Yeah, this is our emergency. Earlier, we used to have it as a read lecture, but later we decided and to have it as a kind of backup arrangement for emergency situation.
Yeah.
Because if you behave in
This,
a mature
this
way
type
during
of
emergency, that is the
emergency was
maturity
very
of
good actually.
organization. Correct. And this memento also again as a remembrance to you, Dr. Ritika.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you to all the panelists and participants who have continuously supported us all through the webinar. A big thank you for joining us on this auspicious day. We wish to see you in the next Saturday with the new topic